What is going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about, are we being duped on silver? So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so super interesting topic to talk about today. The topic at hand is, are we being duped on silver? What do I mean by that? What are my thoughts? Things of that nature. So first and foremost, I want to say I'm not a hater of silver. I stack silver. I have silver in my stack. I see it intrinsically valuable and industrial valuable, right? Similar to platinum, I've already talked about that in previous videos. However, I want to ask you all, are we being duped by silver? And what do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of hype right now, right? I've made videos talking about, will the hype ever die? Don't fall for the hype, all that kind of stuff. And I truly stand by those beliefs and believe those things. Now, I think silver is being hyped a lot at the current time. And I'm wondering if, in fact, I believe it may all end up just being one big sham in a way. And what do I mean by that? What does the Platinum Beast mean by that? Well, if you've been stacking silver for a while, and what do I mean by a while? I mean pre-2020, 2019 and before. I have personally, and I have seen the trends and the different things that have occurred, right? I've seen silver go from being hopelessly below $20 an ounce to never being seen below $20 an ounce again. I bought plenty of silver below $20 an ounce, so I've made a decent return on my initial investment into silver. Now, again, I'm not a hater of silver, so I want to reiterate that. But I also want to mention that we might be being duped, and I currently kind of believe that and kind of see that in the silver stacking as a whole. Now, there's a lot of hype revolving around it, right? And it seems like every time the Wall Street silver guys and the pumper guys and everything like that come out, they always say, oh, silver's going up. Silver's at 28 bucks. What next? Yada, 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 yada. And I think this just really stems a lot from, people wanting to pump the prices. And I don't think the prices can be pumped in the way that people believe they can be. Right? I just don't see it happening, right? The squeezes, they don't work in the way that everyone expects them to work. When a squeeze happens, or what they call a squeeze, typically the price goes up just a little bit, but it's such a small amount that it could just be normal market fluctuation, and they're just feeding off that hype, right? Now, one thing that is for sure is the premiums are going up, right? My good friend Plumber Stacker posted a video about this, a very good video indeed, on the fact that everyone, when they're pumping the silver, the premiums typically go up, but the spot price doesn't go up nearly as much. And that is very much true. If you take a look at it, when the silver is being pumped real hard, the May squeeze or whatever, the premiums go through the roof. Eagles hit $10 over spot per ounce. I mean, that's insane. $10 over spot for an eagle? I don't think so, right? I don't care. I don't care about anything really. I'm not paying $10 over spot per ounce. Now, if you're a pre-2020 stacker, you remember a time when silver was very, very, very inexpensive and very, very, very reasonable premiums. In fact, I had a hard time back in the day buying silver eagles at $3 over spot. I was like, I could get generics at spot. I could get junk silver almost at spot. Why would I buy eagles at $3 over spot? That was a big deal for me. Now eagles are $7, $8, $9, $10 over spot. I used to be able to get this junk silver for a few cents over spot. I mean, the dealers were giving free shipping on orders of $100 or more, and they were selling this stuff for 19 cents over spot. They were literally selling it pretty much below spot once you factored in the cost for shipping. A $10 roll of silver quarters would run you 15 cents over spot, and a roll of silver quarters is about 7 ounces, so 7 times 15 what does that equal? $1.05. By the time they pay $8 for priority shipping in a flat rate box or whatever they use, they're selling below spot, at least their cost initially, not your cost. You're paying a little bit above spot, but they're selling below spot once they factor in the cost of shipping. So they used to be just giving this stuff away, right? I mean, the dealers used to have deals on Britannias for like $1 or $2 over spot. Crazy. So you could get like, I don't know, 5 Britannias, free shipping, $1 or $2 over spot, basically at spot. It was insane. Usually that was sales when they were trying to move inventory or what have you. But the fact of the matter is, when we see these squeezes and hypes and movements and days and things like that, all we're really seeing is premiums being pushed up, right? And a common argument in the silver stacking community is paper price has been disconnected from physical price. So don't look at the physical price and say it's not at the paper price, so I don't want to buy it. That's flawed logic and that's flawed reasoning. And let me explain why. I believe that there could eventually become a disconnect between paper and physical, right? It would most likely have to boil down to the government getting involved and changing how the game can be played for the paper market investors, right? That's where you get into like the manipulation talk. A lot of people talk about manipulation when they talk about silver. They say the price of silver is manipulated and it's controlled and it's kept very, very low. Now, I don't know whether that is true or not. I can't say for one way or another whether I completely believe that. Do I believe it's possible? Maybe. But if that is the case, there needs to have something happen. And it's more than just everyone buying as much physical as possibly can, right? Because although theoretically you should be able to buy so much silver that the paper contracts can't be fulfilled, technically under the law and the way the system is set up, the contracts only have to be paid out in cash if silver is not available, right? But many people believe that if this were to occur on a large-scale basis, you would see people stop investing in paper, I guess, and then invest more in physical. I'm not really sure how they expect it to go down in the world in which they want it to go. However, I don't see that happening really anytime soon. Is it possible? Yes. Now, one thing I want to mention is if the paper price ever was disconnected from the physical price, we could see potential increases across the board in the value of silver. However, this stuff is not really going to cease being mined, right? And there is a good amount still left in the Earth's crust. It has not all been eaten up as of yet, right? Another thing I want to kind of mention is way back in the 80s, manipulation on this sort of similar scale has been tried before. And what do I mean by that? Well, there was a set of brothers, I believe they were out in Texas, decided they wanted to corner the market on silver and buy up all the silver they possibly can and basically just become the ones holding almost all the silver so that no one else could, in a way, if you can think of it like that. And they wanted to corner the market so that they could influence the price to benefit them. The government ended up stepping in. There was an investigation. They got in trouble. They had to pay fines, all that mumbo jumbo. And it ended up spiking spot price for a year or two, but then it went back down. So realistically, this has already been tried in a similar fashion. However, with individual buyers buying up what they can, it's much harder to come down on pretty much everyone who's ever bought silver, right? So the idea is that we can do the same thing. We just need to spread out the responsibility to as many people as we possibly can because they can't take us all on. And that may very well be true, but realistically, I don't really see that happening, right? At some point, people are going to come to the realization that silver is not moving as fast as they hoped it would, right? Such as Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's been hit pretty hard lately. Crypto, I'm not really in that game, but some people are. And some people have made amazing amounts of money. And some people have lost amazing amounts of money. Realistically, what might end up happening with silver is people get invested, they pay high premiums, they end up selling for lower than they bought, but only a little bit, so they don't lose all that much money. However, I don't see the hype lasting forever. And so I'm just saying, I think this stuff is really being pushed way harder than it needs to be. And that's what's driving up premiums. And the premiums aren't going to come down until that stuff comes down, right? Because back pre-2020, silver was not very much hyped. In fact, no one was talking about it really, except your typical outlets like Kitco and whatnot. It was not being talked about in the manner that it is today. It was not being hyped in the manner that it is today. Stackers existed pre-2020, and the types of stackers existed are very much different than the type of stackers that have just joined the game recently. And there have been quite a few join recently. And unfortunately, I get the feeling that a lot of people are being misled. And so by posting this video, I kind of want to just gauge you guys' thoughts on it. But I think there's a lot of people that are being misled that silver is going to go to the moon. Will it go up? Maybe, and I think it will over time. Will it go to the moon tomorrow? I don't think so, right? And a smart person and a wise person, and especially a long-time stacker, knows this, right? So at the end of the day, guys, I just wanted to kind of make this video talking about silver, how it's being hyped, how we are being duped into thinking that, you know, the world's going to run out of silver, or, you know, there's going to be a shortage, and buy as much as you can and don't think about the premiums and things like that. Guys, there's been stackers for years and years and years, and there will be stackers once all of the newbies who can't hold on for long enough end up leaving, you know. And we are seeing somewhat of a culture of individuals who, you know, if you express thoughts and opinions like myself, and I may even get it on this video, you'll find people chiming in saying, you don't know what you're talking about, you're out of your mind, silver's going to $500 an ounce by the end of the year. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you know, I don't hate silver, but at the same time, I don't really see what you are seeing, right? And a lot of that stems from being a stacker for longer than just a year, which most of the people hating have maybe only been stacking for a year or less, and they just see it as something different than what I see it as. So at the end of the day, guys, this too shall pass, just like it has in previous times. Silver, as well as other precious metals, goes through times where there's a lot of hype revolving around it, and there's a lot of things going on that just don't simply add up. And so this too shall pass. And so that's really what I'm waiting for. I haven't bought hardly any silver in quite some time, and I don't really plan on buying any until we see some hype dying down. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's about the premiums, right? The reason I was a stacker pre-2020 is I was able to pick up silver, and for the amount I paid for it, I would get my money back out of it if I were ever to need to sell, because I didn't pay any real premium. But nowadays, it's looking more and more like those days have gone by. And they will be back soon. We're just going to have to wait out the storm, basically. So, at the end of the day, guys, I appreciate y'all stopping by and checking out my video. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you still buying silver by the tubes? Are you picking up an ounce here or there? Are you just holding off until it all calms down? Are you new to stacking? Did you just start stacking in the past year or two? If you are new, might I suggest platinum? Because realistically, platinum is not being pumped as much as silver. However, I made a video recently talking about silver and platinum and how they're similar. So you might want to think about getting in on platinum while silver premiums are high, because both are industrial, both are believed to be undervalued, and both could potentially increase. I personally think platinum will increase more than silver, but who knows? I could be proven wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy sharing my thoughts with y'all. So at the end of the day, guys, do your own research. Come to your own conclusions. Thanks for watching my video. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Until next time, we will see you.